Good, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So today I will be talking about SOAP, so SOAP API, to be precise. Now, you might have heard about the SOAP API, right? Many times. You might have used SOAP API, not just on the Salesforce space. You might be a Java developer, you might be a .NET developer, you might be a React.js developer, or you might be a Delphi developer. So, I mean, I've used SOAP before even, I started using Salesforce. I've been using SOAP on C Sharp. I've used SOAP on the Delphi platform. Concept is pretty much the same. The same goes with the Salesforce space, right? So in SOAP, right, you mostly deal with WSDL. That's the web service definition language, and that drives your most of your interfacing with your external system, right? So the way it works, right? So if you are interfacing, let's say with SAP, right, or with anything else, right, Oracle, or any system out there which only supports web service, they normally give you access to their WSDL, and using the WSDL, you generate um, the Apex file, Apex classes, and using that class, you access it in a nutshell, right? So it contains the protocols, the bindings, and everything you wanted to know, right? When it comes to Salesforce side of things, it's a little bit different, right? Because we normally deal with, I mean, different in the sense, not the way the Apex, not the way the code is generated, but the kinds of WSDL you have to deal with. On that perspective, it's a little bit different, right? So Salesforce supports two kinds of um, SOAP WSDLs. One is the enterprise, and another one is the partner WSDL, right? So it's pretty simple when you look at this two of the WSDL, as you can see here. You know, there are the two things. So enterprise WSDL is if you wanted to integrate with, say, but just with the single Salesforce, right? Then you go to use the enterprise because it is very strongly coupled. Okay, so let's say I wanted to interface just with the Salesforce, just with a single Salesforce org, then the obvious choice is enterprise. But if I'm not sure how many Salesforce org I'll be interfacing, let's say I wanted to interface with more than one, then I will not be using enterprise WSDL. That's a absolutely bad choice. So you normally go for partner WSDL in that case. It's because it's loosely coupled WSDL, right? I mean, whenever you're dealing with strongly coupled, that means you are binding a strong contract. Okay, when you bind a very strong contract, which can only be understood by one org and another interface, then you can't use a loosely coupled WSDL. You have to go with an enterprise WSDL. So you might get asked this kind of questions in your exam, may or may not, but even if it's not from an exam perspective, right? If you go for an architect interview or for a developer interview, right? They will ask you, right? Okay, this is the requirement, right? So I have a external system, and I which only supports unfortunately SOAP, right? And I just wanted to interface only with a single Salesforce org, and my requirement is that I'm not concerned whether about the other orgs, and it has to be strongly coupled. So can you tell me which we're still going to go for? If you say partner Bristol, then I will tell you that's the door. You can walk away. Because that means you haven't worked with this whole. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you do not know, that's fine. I mean, most of the time, if you have worked only with REST API, that's fine, you know. Um, but I'm just saying, right? But it's good to know, right? Because you might have to deal with it. So it's pretty. So the normally how you can do test it, right? It's pretty simple. So you go to Salesforce org, right? You go to setup and look for API. So you have enterprise WSDL, partner WSDL. So you go here and so you just download it. You download it. Okay. Now you just have to understand one thing, right? There will be one issue which you might encounter. Let me go to right. So you got a Vista, okay, and if you wanted to generate an Apex class, right? from a WSDL is mostly, it's an XML file basically, right? So you normally use this option. So under Apex class, generate from WSDL. If you go here and you select a your you know the WSDL file, and then you pass it, it will generate the classes for you. At times, what happens is, right, your WSDL file may not contain any specific type, so it will complain, all right, I can't convert this WSDL file to classes because I can't understand the type. That's what this specific option will complain. So you have to go through it and see, oh look, what file is talking about. So you can Google around. This is just a part of a troubleshooting step, right? So I always believe that it's more than knowing Salesforce. It's your troubleshooting skills that's important, right? That's what I feel. Some of the people I worked with, I don't want to in the past at times struggles the basic troubleshooting step. They just say, "Oh, like, look, I don't know." Well, it's fine. You don't know. You can Google it, right? Because this is where your troubleshooting step comes into picture, right? You don't have to know the platform, but at least if you have a right attitude to go and search for yourself, that's important, right? You just do your Google around, be persistent, right? Keep on trying, rather than trying once and say, "Look, it's too hard. I can't do it." That's not really good. That won't take you too far, I'm afraid. That's my personal opinion, and I've seen people fail big time, right? Using that attitude. Right. Sorry, I digress. Just wanted to mention you might encounter a problem using this one if you have a pistol which do not contain a type. It could be string, or could be boolean, could be integer. Right. All right. That's fantastic. Now, you can test pistol using different clients, right? The SOAP UI is one of them. You can download it, right? And you can create a project and then try to execute different methods, right? This will give you an idea whether how each stuff works. So something like that, right? So this is the interface you normally get, right? And you just upload it. So you can install in Windows, and you can also install it on Ubuntu. I use Ubuntu a lot. I mean, I'm not a Windows fan. I hate Windows, right? I just consider it just blah, right? That's my opinion. I use most of the stuff on Ubuntu, so I don't like Windows platform whatsoever. But that being said, I like the .NET platform, but the Windows operating system is clunky, right? I mean, it's just for the user who don't understand what's going on behind the scene. Yeah, Mac and Windows, you can stick to it, but I don't like it. So, but if you're a Ubuntu fan like me, so you can go to the command prompt and install the SOAP UI. Pretty simple, right? And then once you install it, you just create a new project, specify the WSDL file. That's an XML file, and okay. And once you do that, all the methods associated with it, you'll find it. Then you can click on it, and then you can try it. Right? It's pretty simple. So that's how you normally test your WSDL code. As you can see here, you can send the params, you can send the username and password, and in the test it. First you log in, then you do all the operation you wanted to do. It's just a test. It's not really simple, or not. I won't say the word simple. It's not really. How do I say? User friendly like Workbench. When you deal with SOAP, because first of all, XML is clunky. Let's accept the fact, right? You might be a XML fan, but I'm a JSON fan, right? And you can't do JSON. I haven't seen a SOAP doing JSON. I mean, I haven't seen SOAP supporting JSON unless they change it in the future. I don't think so. There is any reason why they include the JSON, because it's a different protocol altogether. Um, so so XML, when you deal with an XML, it's clunky, right? And when you're testing XML, it's clunky, right? So avoid SOAP when you don't have to use it, right? If you have a choice between REST and SOAP, go for REST. If you don't have a choice, stick to SOAP, right? So that's again is a part of your architecture discussion group, whatever you have in your company. But if you're an architect, right, then you have to make a call, right? If you have an option to go with the REST, right, and your other interface support REST, then we'll go with the REST, right? But please do read out that if the SOAP API has any extra advantage, like extra functionality, which REST may not. I mean, with the same API may not have it. I'm not talking in terms of technical aspect, but I'm talking from a functional aspect, right? That's why, I always go for API first approach. That's where you can actually test the functionality you want to build. Um, so yeah, this is pretty much I wanted to talk about, right? Nothing fancy about SOAP, right? Yeah. So that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing Thursday. Have a great evening. Adios.